The sky was burning. The clouds red with twisted fire. Lightning moving across them. And they descended upon everything. Like a furious battle between God and Satan, good and evil. Like a fire vortex.
What's going on, y'all? How's everyone doing tonight? Welcome to another SGL stream. This is the only Mazar here, and folks, we are kicking off week 6 of SGL, and this is very important. We have now reached the halfway point of the regular season, folks. Now that means two big things. One, each of these matches are going to start to matter more and more, but more importantly, this week is the week when each team can start to update their rosters for the rest of the season, including the playoffs. Why am I bringing this up, folks? Well, that roster update window has resulted in a change for one of these rosters, and that roster is El Matador. And we will be seeing the roster come to fruition tonight. You'll start to see some new faces, some new players, and you will effectively see a brand new El Matador team, folks. And right now I'm in this chat. We're starting to see some people start to roll in. Luis, how you doing? Matt Duel with his hashtag DTID, how you doing? Kuv coming in hot with the Vamos Dallas. And then Arglis, he's like, nah, I don't want to introduce myself. I don't want to say hi. I'm just going to drop a prediction straight up. He says he's been on a roll, saying that he's going to go with 3-1 to the locals. Arglis, I'll put up channel points prediction in a bit. I want you to put your money where your mouth is. Put up your points. Let's see if you can get that right or wrong. As much as you've been on a roll, you did go against one of your predictions a while back, and you were wrong. So we'll see if, you could keep the supposed roll going. Now, folks, we're kicking off week 6 with a banger, as you can see right here. It is El Matador versus the locals, and I say this is a banger because, as you will see in the league table, both of these sides are top teams. You have the locals, who are at the top of the table, first place, no losses, 83% of their games won. This team is the team to beat, folks. They have been steamrolling almost all their opponents, and they look absolutely unbeatable. And then you have El Matador, who had a bit of a rough start, but are now starting to bounce back. And after their loss in week 1, I believe, let me just confirm this before I continue. I may be wrong. Oh no, El Matador had a bye week in week 1. After they started off with a 1-1 record, from week 3, they've been on a roll, beating teams and getting consistent results. So they started off their season in week 2, beating Los Verdes 3-2, looking kind of sluggish, looking kind of sloppy, but they did get into the groove and eventually won that match 3-2. Then they lost 3-2 to Black Army. And since then, they've been winning. They beat Timber's Army, they beat Emerald City Defiance, and now they have their toughest test yet in the locals. Now, to round off the rest of the table, you have Black Army sitting in second place, coming in hot, coming off strong. Unfortunately, though, last week they did lose to the team in 5th place, the Rebellion, who are tied in points. with Emerald City RC. Yes, folks, the Rebellion are coming up hot. They got two big upsets, one after another in Casey Cauldron and then Black Army. This week, they will be facing off against Timber's Army, who are in 6th place and are barely in that playoff spot. Now, they only got in there because they got a very good win against Emerald City Blue in Week 5, and because Los Verdes started to hit a bit of a slump, getting swept 3-0 by Steel Army in Week 5. Now, Los Verdes have been up there for a long while, despite their record, because they kept winning at least one game, mostly 2 games. But that sweep against Steel Army hurt them, and it brought them down to 7th place, below the playoff spots. So they need to get themselves going again, and they have a very tough matchup coming up in Week 6, as we'll go and preview in a bit. Now, to round off the rest of the table, you have Casey Cauldron sitting in 8th place. One of the biggest surprises of the season, folks. They are below Los Verdes despite the talent in their side. Even Serrano has come back. And let's see if they can use the roster window to strengthen their side and potentially get them back up. Arglis and Chad saying very competitive table, 2nd to 8th. I fully agree. And with this roster update window, Week 6, Arglis, I could see a lot of things changing. Some teams are going to start to bounce back. Some teams are going to slip, because of the improvements in those teams. And we'll see how the rest of the season progresses afterwards. Prediction for channel points says Triple C. That'll be coming up in a couple of minutes. Just you wait. Steel Army then rounds off the rest of the table along with Emerald City Blue and Emerald City Defiance. Emerald City Defiance still looking for their first win. Hopefully they can get that win so that we don't have a team with a winless record in the regular season. Now, folks, I want to highlight the Week 6 fixtures that you'll be looking forward to this week. Starting with El Matador versus the Locals. That is a banger of a fixture, and we're going to be starting that in about a couple of minutes. Then you have a local derby between Emerald City Blue and Emerald City Defiance. Could that be the chance for Emerald City Defiance to get their first win of the season against a team that's only one place above them? I don't know about that because Emerald City Blue is starting to get better. They're starting to get on a roll. So slowly but surely, I feel like Emerald City Blue is just going to keep improving. So I think that matchup for Emerald City Defiance is coming at a bit of a bad time. And then you have Los Verdes versus Emerald City RC. A very, very difficult matchup for Los Verdes. And after they got swept against Steel Army, I don't know how they'll do against Emerald City RC, and honestly, I could see them struggling. And then the last 2 fixtures, the Rebellion versus Timber's Army. I think that's going to be a banger of a match as well, alongside El Matador versus the Locals. And honestly, I don't know how that'll go. That'll be tough to call. Maybe the Rebellion can get a win based on form, but given how SGL has been this season, folks, it could go any which way, because Timber's Army cannot be downplayed. They are still a very good side with very good players. And then you have Black Army versus Steel Army. This is kind of a throwback to the old SGL days, back when Black Army and Steel Army used to be around in Season 2 and Season 3. But this time, Black Army has a brand new team. Steel Army? Not necessarily. Pretty much the same team. And that wraps up all of the fixtures for Week 6, folks. We need to get started with the match very soon. We have, I see one of the teams in. I see both teams in, actually, so we should be ready to go in a bit, folks. Bear with me for a sec as we get started. Now, I did not forget about the prediction. I'm going to bring that up right now. Excuse me. Folks, you have 2 minutes to predict. Put your channel points where your mouth is. Put your predictions in. I'm going to start off personally with a prediction of my own. Despite the improvements from El Matador, I think the Locals will probably be too good for them. I could see them winning this in 5 games. We're going to go to Champions Field, and I see the Locals winning it in overtime, 3-2 to them. That's my prediction for this matchup. So I'm kind of going with Argos right here, but I think it's going to be way closer than it seems. Now, with both teams ready to go, folks, we are going to jump in real soon, and we're going to kick off right about now. Here we go, folks. Game 1 between El Matador and the Locals kicks off right now. And as you can see right here, El Matador already have a new player debuting, and that new player, Ponzi, gets his first goal in SGL in just 7 seconds. My word, folks, what a fortuitous goal that was by Ponzi. Basically trying to get the shot into the near post, bounces off the backboard and off the side of his Dominus, and it eventually ends up into the back of the net. El Matador could not have asked for a better start than that. Monkey Duck clears it out into the midfield to Luis. That's not a good play to have. Luis to Caesar. Caesar to Ponzi. Ponzi to the near post. Dr. Aquatic with a clutch save. The pressure sustains itself by El Matador. Finally, Dr. Aquatic clears it off. Ducky tries to go for a challenge, fails. Ponzi clears it off really well to the opposite end. Dr. Aquatic needs to take control but cannot. Luis with 0 boost. And Doughboy lets it go. Luis gets the boost and the challenge. Caesar trying to go for an aerial. Ducky, though, gets some control. To Luis. Luis into the near post. 2-0. Folks, El Matador has taken a big lead already. I say big because they've been controlling this match from the start, and they've already gotten a 2-goal lead. Well deserved, I say, folks. What a start. I will say this, given the recent roster additions we've also seen, quite a lot of intake of FC Dallas fans coming in, and El Matador members as well. I see FC Dallas 17 coming into the chat. Welcome aboard. And I want to thank a bunch of different FC Dallas fans and other fans coming in, following the channel over the past few days. Even Ponzi himself following 4 minutes ago. Thank you for the follow, man. Appreciate it. And for the Locals, unfortunately for them, they've had a rough start. They need to get back into the groove quickly. That demo might be the catalyst. We'll see if the Locals can take advantage of that. Although Meki Ducky sends the ball to the midfield yet again, and they give up. The Locals need to drop back, and they made the right choice as they come up with a big save right there. Framsa with the first-time chat message saying, "Siempre contigo, Dallas." The support just keeps rolling in, folks. It's incredible to see. What's also incredible to see is the amount of control and the great passing from El Matador as well. Their passing has been slick. Probably the best I've seen from El Matador in the past few seasons, let alone just this one season. But right now, the Locals are starting to get back into the game. Starting to get control of that midfield. Luis, though, brings out the ball into the midfield himself. Big challenge. Luis with 0 boost. Tries to make something out of nothing. Now Caesar has enough boost to make a play on this. Caesar to the near post. Cannot get the shot on target. Meki Ducky with a huge demo on Ponzi. Caesar returns a favor. Luis with a redirect. With very tight angle. He just cannot get it on target. Now Caesar coming in. Gets bumped away. Shot off the crossbar. And the Locals are hanging on. And they're just barely keeping that ball out right now. They need to take advantage of these attacks. Meki Ducky tries to get a touch. Doesn't do much with it. Dr. Aquatic into the middle. Towards Meki Ducky. And Meki Ducky cannot get a touch on that. Wow, what an inventive, creative play by the Locals. Much better from them. Speaking of the Meki Ducky, he gets back into it. Does not get anything out of that, though. Locals, they're going to get a goal right there, courtesy of Gay Doughboy off of the right side. I don't know what happened right there. Caesar made a huge mistake, completely missing the ball, and there was no one behind him to clean up. Terrible goal to concede at a really bad time because the Locals have just more than 90 seconds to get back into this. And a big save by Dr. Aquatic. Ball going all the way out to Ponzi in the midfield. And Meki Ducky doesn't give him any time to settle down. Now Caesar, great pass towards Luis. He cannot get a touch. Ponzi needs to get back quickly. The Locals have 2. Dr. Aquatic tries to redirect it all on his own, and he cannot get the shot on target. Now Posey brings it up. Mecky Ducky needs to do something about it. Does enough to bring his teammates back into position. Caesar up for a quick aerial, misses. And another miss. Doughboy to Ducky. Ducky cannot get the shot on target, but Doughboy can sustain the pressure with enough boost. Ball right into the middle, and Luis intercepts, clears it out. Counterattack, shot towards the near post. Goal, El Matador. 3-1 up with 50 seconds to go. And that is the most important goal that El Matador could have scored in game one. They were under a lot of pressure. The locals were growing into it. That surely has to be the dagger, even though there's still a lot of time for the locals to get back into it. But El Matador have looked so solid here, folks. Look at that defending. Luis brings it out comfortably, dribbles it out into the opposite flank, beats Mecky Ducky in the challenge, but Doughboy to Ducky, not a powerful enough shot though, and El Matador comfortably saved that. Posey advances it from the left flank, centers it, but a big demo by the locals means they can counterattack right here. Caesar needs to retreat. No shot on target, and Luis, he gets the favorable spawn, and he's able to save that off of the left side. Big 50 as the clock ticks down. This ball is in front of the locals net, and Luis surely ends it right there. 4-1 to El Matador, and what a game one. Overtime Saint, one of the followers of the channel, coming in saying, nice moves and nice shot, as if, you know, he's putting in the Rocket League quick chat inputs. Hey, who knows, maybe he's a bot. We'll see. Luis doesn't want to end this match, though. He wants to get a fifth right there. Send a statement out to the rest of SGL that El Matador are one of the favorites. And folks, this is probably the most convincing win I've seen from El Matador. What a start. What a performance. That one new player coming in, Posey, has transformed the side completely. And honestly, if they want to win this, they may as well keep the same team. But they look like they're going to be rotating, which is going to be pretty interesting. Ignore that, folks. You saw the game result, but that's the match result right now. So far, it's 1-0 to El Matador in this match. And you did see, before we got into this screen, that El Matador's Posey dropped out of the lobby. So they are definitely going to make a substitution right here. We'll see who's going to be joining in very soon. The Couve in chat saying, the Couve erasure. Look, man, better players have come in. You'll still have a role to play if El Matador wants to rotate. We'll see if they choose to do that, though. Folks, game 2 is going to start very soon in Forbidden Temple. And the substitution that we have seen is Huey in for Posey. Here we go, game 2 in Forbidden Temple. Can the locals respond? Can they show what they're all about? Can they show why they are the dominant force in SGL this season? Or will El Matador continue to keep this ruthless streak going and this high-quality Rocket League gameplay as well? Ball advances to the opposite flank. Mecky Ducky going in for a quick challenge. Beats Huey. Luis, though, is in the right place at the right time, as always. And now he's dribbling it in towards the opposite side. All on his own. From the back to the front. Luis is back, folks. What a wonderful goal right there. All the way from the back left corner. Dribbling it to the other side. Beautiful boost management. Beautiful control of that octane. Folks, that is vintage Luis right there. The dude has had to struggle because of bad internet and bad weather. Hurricane Milton is going to come in strong into his region, so, you know, he might not be able to have any power potentially to play Rocket League for the next few days or so. He is really trying to make his best impression right here to show everyone And no matter the obstacles, he is still one of the best SGL players around. Arglis in chat asking, has Ducky always used the Batmobile? Only this season. Last season, he was not using the Batmobile. This season, he's been all about it, and he has looked so, so good. Honestly, I'm surprised he did not use it sooner. And I'm happy to see the variety in vehicle usage as well. Dr. Aquatic using the Skyline, my personal favorite and my main car at this stage of Rocket League. And we see, other cars being used like the Jaeger by Huskies, the Masamune by Toad Death. And honestly, I would not be surprised to see more cool cars and vehicles being used throughout the season. Ducky with his Batmobile flicks it up, but no one is there from the locals to challenge, and now they need to go back. Big mistake right there from Dr. Aquatic, but the shot is not on target. And now at the opposite end, Huey's anchoring the back line, popping it up to allow his teammates to come back. Dr. Aquatic shot on target, over the crossbar. Luis barely clears it out, and Doughboy should be trying to control this, but he's struggling, looking a bit rough out there. Does enough to keep that pressure out. And now Caesar off the backboard. Doughboy towards the right flank. Caesar trying to play it back, letting Huey get a chance to build up an attack right here. Flicks it forward to Caesar. Ball's over the middle. No one is there to get the ball. Dr. Aquatic does just enough to clear it out, and El Matador chose not to go for that. Stay back. Uh-oh, awkward touch from Ducky, but Dr. Aquatic comes in with a clutch defensive play, and very important touch, and he keeps enough control to allow the locals to get some boost back and to get them back into position. But El Matador are sustaining this pressure, and I've never seen the locals play on the back foot like this season, folks. El Matador's rotations look way better, they look way faster, they're way more aggressive. And this is what the roster update window is all about, folks. But the locals are showing you why they are indeed the favorites. Caesar tried to play it off the sidewall, tried to get a second touch, but made an unfortunate error. And Doughboy was in the right place to get that powerful shot in. 1-1 to the locals with less than 2 minutes to go. No Death asking, was that saved from the dock on purpose? I seem to have forgotten what save you're referring to specifically, but no matter what, if you make a save, it counts whether it's intentional or not. Even if it's on the other end, even if you're saving a teammate shot. Unfortunately, it'll still count as a save no matter what. Huey takes control, tries to get an air dribble going, but Mecky Ducky sees it out. And Caesar takes control from the same flank. Caesar with a nice dribble, few touches off. Dr. Aquatic clears it out. Luis sustains the pressure. And look at this rotation, folks. Huey's hanging in the midfield. He's going to keep this going. The locals need to push up. They need to win a 50 right here. But no, it's Caesar winning the 50. Dr. Aquatic also got into a bad spot. And Caesar puts it into the open net. Terrible miscommunication right there between Doughboy and Aquatic. Doughboy looked like he had that set for himself. And Dr. Aquatic, I don't know if he was unaware of that or there was just a mistake. Unfortunate error. But now the locals need to bounce back. The good thing for them is they have 60 seconds to go. They can easily come back as long as they don't get pinned back by El Matador. Bit of harassment attempt going on, but Luis gets the ball from the midfield. Both Doughboy and Aquatic are hanging back. Luis trying to go for a shot off the ceiling. Cannot get it. And now it's going to the other end. Monkey Ducky. I was going to say Monkey Mood, unfortunately. But it's Mecky Ducky. Trying to bring it up. Cannot do anything with it. And Luis slows the play down. Beats Doughboy to the midfield. Still keeps dribbling with the ball. Tries to go for a fake musty. Succeeds. But the ball is too high. Not really a chance for a shot towards the net. But as long as the ball remains loose, that goes into the favor of El Matador. The locals need to take control. Mecky Ducky with a shot. Big save, though, by El Matador. And the ball's not going into the opposite end. Doughboy has the boost. He needs to do something. Someone needs to keep this ball up. It's not looking good for the locals. Mecky Ducky sustains it. Now to Caesar. Caesar brings it down. El Matador are 2-0 up in this match. And chat, what is incredible is they made a sub, bringing out Podzi, who looked really good for Huey. And Huey himself looked pretty good as well. And he made sure that El Matador kept going with their playstyle, kept going with their system of aggressive Rocket League passes, 50s, rotation, midfield control. Oh my goodness, that was just really good to see. And for the locals, I think they need to engage higher. They need to be a bit more aggressive. Easier said than done, though. But too often do they drop 2 people back, and they allow El Matador to come up. So we'll see what they have in store in Game 3 here in a bit, folks. I did miss this earlier, but a lot of thank you, Kuv, coming up in the chat amongst the El Matador players. Then Arglis going with a no thank you, Kuv. Listen, Kuv, you're still an El Matador player. You can still play a part. But we'll see if there is a substitution in Game 3. Because Huey did leave the lobby for a little bit, but we'll see if he has come back or not, or if someone else is coming in. Seems like we are having a substitution, folks. Okay. We'll see who's coming in then. As we go into the lobby, folks, same trio for the locals. What about for El Matador? Who is their third as the clock ticks down to DFH? And yes, your eyes do not deceive you. Kuv is in for Huey for this Game 3 at DFH Stadium. And despite the roster changes that there have been numerous, the Kuv is still playing a part in this El Matador season. That's a good sight to see. Like to see the rotation and multiple players getting involved. But we'll see if the locals can deal with this. Great pass by Aquatic to Mecky Ducky, and Aquatic gets the goal off of that. His skyline falling in towards the ball. And he gets that goal for the locals. 1-0, and a really good start for the locals right here, folks. Now we'll see what El Matador can do with Kuv in the side. That looked a little too slow from them, a little too passive. And once again, it is slow and passive from El Matador. Luis trying to go for a bump to no avail. Mecky Ducky carries that ball to the far side, as if he's holding the ball at the palm of his hand and dragging it to the far post. The Kuv had no chance right there. Arglis in chat say, Kuv trying to get his rating up from a 6. Excuse me, absolutely. But this has not been a good start from him so far. We'll see if he can come back and do something right here. The Kuv had his chance, though, to boost his rating up, but he just could not get that shot on target. Looking really awkward there. Now the locals bring the ball up. Luis dribbles it out with his Octane. Nice flip reset. Gets Doughboy demoed. Aquatic tries to go for a shot, misses, and now Mecky Ducky pops into the midfield, but no one's there. Caesar challenges with 0 boost, and now Luis brings it forward. Off the ceiling, cannot get the touch though. Dr. Aquatic clears it out, and this is a chance for the locals to push up and establish themselves. Caesar kind of hesitating, but still able to see that off. And now Kuv clearing it out towards Caesar. Mecky Ducky gets bumped by Caesar himself. No one knows going for the ball. Luis misses. Caesar has 0 boost. He needs to get that out, and now Luis finally gets it out. Beats Mecky Ducky. Ball's in the middle. Kuv is just flying in, nowhere near the ball, unfortunately for him. And Dr. Aquatic advances it out to the midfield. This is so much better from the locals, folks. This is what we expect to see from them. A little bit too passive still, but they look way more comfortable defensively. They don't look like they're really getting stretched. They look like they're staying in front of the net, struggling to get out. They're able to engage and challenge, but so far, Luis is trying to make something out of nothing, and now Caesar has to recover. Caesar misses a shot. Kuv also misses a shot. Oh my goodness, the chances are being created, but no one is able to finish that for El Matador at this time. Great pass attempt by Ducky, but Aquatic was not able to get to that. Now he needs to go back. Doughboy, much better from him, rotating into the midfield, keeping this pressure up. That's what you want to see from the locals. Luis with zero boost. Dodges a bump. Now Mecky Ducky takes control. Coop clears it out to the left towards Aquatic. Aquatic, can he get the second touch off the backboard? He cannot. Luis pinches it away. Luis gets the second touch, gets the boost on the right, takes charge towards the left flank. Pitches it off the wall, and the ball just rolls down. Now Caesar off the backboard, cannot get a shot. Luis comes up, he misses as well. Coop is all alone at the back. With how slowly the ball is advanced, El Matador are able to come back. Luis trying to harass the opponents to no avail. Locals are able to clear it out. This is looking rough. Dr. Aquatic off the far post. Surely that should have been 3-0. And with 90 seconds to go, folks, El Matador need all the breaks they can get, but they're stuck at the back right now. Joe Death saying Luis had Matter of the week last week. Yeah, his performance was really good, and he's showing it once again right here. Caesar has also been very good. The awkward touch from Aquatic. Who is trying to go for a shot? Misses. Demo by Caesar. Luis needs to come up with zero boost to sustain the pressure. Ball's in the middle. Caesar needs to get a shot. He fakes. The coup misses. Oh no. Not again, Colin. Not again. Locals are kind of getting some lucky breaks right here. But with those lucky breaks come good saves. Dr. Aquatic bringing it out with some help from Mecky Ducky. Aquatic clears it out again. Ball's in the middle. Who's going to take this on? Koof takes it on. Mecky Ducky with a nice challenge right there. Now Luis off the ceiling. Fakes a flip reset. Caesar takes a shot. Caesar gets the goal back with 25 seconds to go. Can El Matador get back into this game? And once again, you're noticing it right there. Dr. Aquatic and Doughboy going for the same ball. There needs to be some more communication. Someone needs to take charge there because they're getting punished by that. Caesar clears it off. 17 seconds to go. Mecky Ducky with a big touch, but a demo puts them back. Coov towards the flanks, but Mecky Ducky clears this out. Ducky again. Second touch off the corner. This is looking good. Doughboy shot in towards the empty net, and that surely has to be the dagger. That surely has to be Game 3 in the locals' bag. Great play right there by Ducky. Bringing the ball out on his own. Playing a good pass off the corner. Getting a key bump on Caesar and allowing K Doughboy to get that shot into the empty net. And this is Game 3 for the locals, folks. But not without a last save from Luis. Unfortunately, he just does not get the goal. The locals, though, they want another goal. They don't want this to end. The ball is still staying up. The ball is still up, folks. This is going to keep going for a little bit. Luis off the backboard. Tries to go for a shot to no avail. And the locals have one win on the board. And as you can see right there, folks, the coup instantly leaves the lobby. We might have another substitution coming up in a bit as we head towards Utopia Coliseum for Game 4. Now, folks, with that substitution, you did notice a difference in play from El Matador. They kind of looked slower. They kind of looked a little more hesitant. They were dropping back into their goal a bit more, which allowed the locals to come up. And this is the win that the locals needed. They looked like they were back to their best. A lot more midfield control, a lot more pressure from the midfield. Much, much better from them. And even if El Matador brings in a better sub, I think the locals might be able to take this to Game 5 with that important Game 3 win, folks. Kuv in chat saying, "It's Jover. I'm announcing my retirement." Look here, Kuv. This is SGL. You can still get involved. You can still play, have fun. Because it's all about playing with your fellow supporters and teammates. But for now, this doesn't matter because the Kuv is not around. And Posey comes back in for El Matador for this Game 4. El Matador looking to beat the locals and hand them their first loss of the season. The locals looking to take us to Champions Field. Posey with a nice touch off of his Dominus. Now needs to go back. Caesar off the corner. Gets a nice shot towards the net. Mecky Ducky gets a good save out. And now the locals can advance. Big demo by Ducky. But Caesar with a big touch. Open net towards Luis. He doesn't take that shot though. Mecky Ducky tried to make a last second play, but unfortunately, he could not get the ball out of the net. Just like that, folks. El Matador takes the lead. I don't know if you guys saw that. I saw it live. I saw it on the replay as well. That does look like an unfortunate ghost touch, but it doesn't matter for El Matador as they do get a 1-0 lead right here. And that's exactly the start they needed to hand the locals their first loss of the season. But the locals are not going to give up right now. Sorry, excuse me for that. As Mecky Ducky gets a shot into the open net. A big mistake from El Matador's backline, and they invite the locals back in just like that. Oh man, you hate to see that, folks. Posey and Luis both whipping. Easy goal for Mecky Ducky. And we're back all square. Ooh, a little bit of uncertainty right there from El Matador, but they're able to see this off. Posey with a nice touch. Luis takes over. Luis tries to beat Mecky Ducky, does so, but the ball's going to the opposite flank. Caesar's in position for a shot towards the near post, and Caesar gets it in. His second goal, El Matador's second goal. 3 goals in, what is that, 76 seconds? Yes, 76 seconds. Doughboy tried his best, but he just went too far forward for that, and he unfortunately redirected the ball into the net, but I'll still make that count for Caesar. That shot was on target. His second goal of this game, and now he is on a hat trick. Speaking of Caesar, gets a nice touch out there to clear it out. Luis with 0 boost, brings it out as well, but now Dr. Aquatic brings it forward. Doughboy going for a demo, misses, and now Posey is able to come up to go for a challenge. Doughboy once again clears it out. Is there anyone from the locals to receive this? No. Caesar clears it out. Posey's in the back. Luis with a really awkward touch, but he gets away with it. Now he advances it forward to beat Mecky Ducky, and that he kind of does. Posey with his dominance comes up real quick. An awkward bounce off the back. And this is looking a little awkward for El Matador as Aquatic tries to get it on target, and Caesar gets back right on time to clear that out. And now everyone from El Matador is boosted. The locals now need to get back and recover. Nice touch from Aquatic. Should allow his teammates to get back and to get their boost back again. But Mecky Ducky says, nah, I'm going to take the right position to take control of the ball with little to no boost. Doughboy beaten by Caesar. Can he get a second touch? He does, but it's not a good enough touch. Posey needs to come up and challenge. He wins the challenge. Luis goes in. Luis gets his goal. El Matador gets their third. And now they have control of this match. One beat from Caesar leads to a little bit of an awkward moment for the locals. Posey comes up for a quick challenge, and that sustains enough pressure for Luis to come up and get a shot on target and get his goal in this match. El Matador are looking like a brand new, unbeatable team right here with their roster updates. Posey playing a big part in this as well. Mecky Ducky with 100 boost takes control, but Luis anticipates his dribble, beats him with 0 boost now. A little rough right there, but Caesar's at the back, able to clear this off the backboard. Posey tries to back pass to Luis. Luis brings it up with 0 boost. Dr. Aquatic, can he do something with this? He tries with no boost. He needs to go back. Open net. Can Caesar get a final touch? No, he cannot, because Doughboy recovers with a clutch play. But it's not over yet, folks. Posey tries to get a shot on target and misses. Caesar yet again beats 2 off the dribble to the opposite flank. Posey now into the middle. Lets it go. Dr. Aquatic misses. Luis also misses as he cannot make it on time. And now Caesar is trying to help his teammates out. Try to play a back pass. Mecky Ducky sees what was coming, and he wins the ball. Now Luis beats 1. Posey looking a little awkward. Lets it go for Luis. Pinch shot off of Caesar. And Doughboy clears it out to the right. Dr. Aquatic needs to get out a challenge, though. He misses. Posey gets his goal. With 68 seconds to go, folks, El Matador have a big 3-goal lead. The locals, they need to get back into a roll. They need to get that goal quickly to get some momentum back on their side. And with how momentum-based Rocket League is, El Matador are looking like they can hand the locals their first loss of the season. Oh my goodness, what a development we're seeing right here. Big bump plays by Caesar. El Matador are gonna go for a fifth. They're not done yet. They're keeping up the pressure. Locals are in panic mode right now. They're struggling. Luis tries to go for a pitch, fails. Posey comes in. Open net for Aquatic. Aquatic misses. Oh my goodness, how did that happen? But it's not over yet, folks. Doughboy comes in. Doughboy puts it into the back of the net. Perfect timing with 33 seconds to go. A 2-goal deficit is not a big one to overcome. The locals, though, need to get a goal quick so they can have enough time for an equalizer. Kuv is saying chat is pretty quiet. Well, understandably, look at this match. It's quite tense. We're seeing a big moment have to come up where the locals are going to get their first loss. But it's not over yet. Aquatic goes for a shot. Huge save by Caesar, and now Posey tries to do something right there to keep the pressure up. Meki Ducky beats him though. Luis with a 100 boost goes up, tries to beat Aquatic. Aquatic reads it though, gets the touch, but this ball is hanging loose in the locals' end. Someone needs to take charge and bring that ball forward for the locals as the clock goes down to 1 second. Folks, it is all over. El Matador seal the deal with a fifth, courtesy of Luis. Game, set, and match. Folks, there you have it. It took 6 weeks, but the locals have finally lost the first match of Season 8. I mean, what an incredible performance by El Matador right there. Their new players have played a huge part in the improvement in their side. Both Posey and Huey having big roles in games 1 and 2. Posey making El Matador look like a complete side with slick rotations and slick passing. Huey being the anchor El Matador needs so that Caesar and Luis can be freed up to play their game. Hey, let's not forget about Kuv. Listen, despite the loss, he was still in the team. He still played a part. And in the past few weeks, he did play a part in several wins for El Matador. So, let's not dismiss him at all. Still played a part for sure. All right, folks, in a bit we will have interviews. We'll see who's going to be interviewed. But I need to end this prediction right now. Excuse me. Man, what a freaking match. Who saw this coming though? Arglis wanted to see the locals win. He did not get to see the locals win, unfortunately, because El Matador gets their win here this season. Alright, so we have someone nominated by El Matador for the interview. Let's see if we can have a second interview lined up as well. And at this moment in time, folks, I want to read your thoughts on this match. For you guys here, repping El Matador, for all you FC Dallas fans here as well, put your thoughts down. My opinion, this was a really, really good performance by El Matador. It has been so long since we've seen them be such a strong team, such a complete team. And with these new players, they look like a complete team. I don't see that many weaknesses in them now. I mean, the locals looked so good with Dr. Aquatic, Doughboy, and Meki Ducky. But they just looked outmatched in games 1, 2, and 4. That's how good El Matador looked, folks. And in all honesty, SGL better watch out, because El Matador are now one of the teams to worry about for the rest of the season. But let's not dismiss the locals that readily, folks. As good as the El Matador looked, as good as excuse me, El Matador look, the locals are still a good team, and I believe they should still be at the top of the table thanks to their good performances prior to this. Bear with me, folks, as I get the interview set up for El Matador to kick us off. Might take a bit of time, but once we are ready to go, I will let you know. All right, folks, we have our interview ready to go. So please welcome on in Huey. Huey.
Hey, Matt, how are you?
Hey, man, I'm good. But how are you doing? You just played your first SGL match for this season, man. Tell me how it's been for you.
It's been exciting. It's been a very quick process. I reached out to Luis on Twitter. He made a post looking for players, and then I played with the fellas a couple times, got some things out of the way, and then it was just good to finally play with the lads in a real game, man.
Dude, I need to know how you guys were able to see off the locals so comfortably. Did you guys do any preparation for this team specifically, or did you guys just go in with your own vibes, with your own style, and with your own belief?
We just went in. We just went in with the vibes, man. I mean, we just trusted each other. All the great thing about this team is that we know each other's roles and we don't overstep. We all trust each other to do our jobs. Even if that's me as like the fourth man, Ponzi out there killing it in his debut. I'm just excited to be a part of this club now. Excited to bring home this cup.
And for real, man, because you guys look so dominant in this matchup. I mean, you came in for Ponzi, and I was like, wait, if excuse me, if a Matador wanted to win this should keep Ponzi in. But you came in and you didn't really change anything for El Matador. If anything, it freed up Luis and Caesar. So tell me this. Did you choose to play that third man role? Is that something that you prefer to do?
Oh yeah, I mean throughout all my time playing Rocket League, I'm always one to turn back and play the anchor instead of going forward. I always like to have my teammates' backs. So I mean, having two players with offensive skill sets like Luis and Caesar makes it so much fun for me.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? They are probably two of the best teammates you can have as a third man. Just seeing them freed up and seeing them just do their thing, man.
I
think
couldn't agree more.
Probably had a lot of fun in that game too, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one thing I want to ask is you talked about how you got into this. How did you discover SGL? Did you learn about it via Luis, or did you find out about it some other way?
Yeah, so I've been an FC Dallas fan since I could remember. My family's been season ticket members for as long as I can remember, and so I've been on Twitter for a while. I follow Luis on Twitter, and he made a post about people who love Rocket League and people who love FC Dallas, and that sounded exactly like me. So I decided to see what was going on.
Heck, and look at you, now you're here, and you contributed to a win against the first place team that didn't have a loss until now. So, I mean, how did your team react once that game 4 ended with that final Luis goal?
We're obviously pretty happy. It's a big deal handing them their first loss, not something that we're going to overlook. But, we also understand that we have some more of the season to go, and that when it's really going to start mattering for us is when playoffs come.
Absolutely. And, with you guys coming in as new players, you also got quite a bit of support in the chat. I don't know if you were able to notice that throughout, but what do you have to say to your fellow FC Dallas supporters and EM members?
I say, DTID, siempre contigo, mis amigos.
Heck yeah, that's what I like to hear, man. Now, excuse me. I'm curious now, because you're coming into SGL, it reminds me of when Caesar got involved in SGL a while back. It allowed him to get involved further with El Matador and become, I guess one of the regulars with him. Do you foresee a similar pathway for yourself in getting more involved in El Matador and really embedding yourself into that supporter scene?
I would love nothing more. I'm currently a college student at Oklahoma State, Not to dox myself or anything, but I actually don't live in DFW right now, and so the second I move back to DFW, absolutely, I love El Matador. I love what they stand for. I've seen them at games for years, and I've always wanted to go over and join. And I think having this as an outlet to meet them and hang out with them is going to be great for when I get back to Dallas.
It's really good to hear, man, and hopefully that can happen for you sooner than later. Now, the season is pretty much over for FC Dallas this year, but maybe next year you could probably get that chance, eh?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Now, I'm gonna leave the floor to you. So if you want to say anything, if you want to give any shout outs, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Well, I think I'm all right, Mads. Thank you for having such a great interview. Thank you for being an admin for this great league, man. This is something I'm excited to be more involved in.
Hey, I'm glad for you guys to get involved, and hopefully you can have a blast. Hey, listen, as a new player, feel free to reach out to the admins if you have any questions, if you want to talk about anything. We'll be happy to get you settled in. We'll be happy to, get you integrated into the community.
Absolutely, man.
All right, thank you very much for the interview, Huey. I really appreciate it. Congrats on the win. Have a good night, and I'll catch y'all next time.
Yeah, cheers, Mads.
And there you have it, folks. That was Huey of El Matador. But we are not done just yet. We will have an interview with one of the locals players as well. So just bear with me for a sec whilst I get that set up and ready to go. Thank you for your patience, guys. Just bear with me for a sec as I get everything set up for the locals interview. If I'm silent, it's because I'm just trying to make sure everyone's good to go. All right, folks. We have our second interview ready to go. So, welcome on in, Dr. Aquatic. Hey, Aquatic, look, it was a tough loss for you all. You got your first loss this season. In a way that I think you guys probably didn't want to lose, in this fashion. What are your thoughts right now? How did your team react after the match ended?
I mean, it was no surprise to us. We know that Matador's a good team. You got Luis and Caesar always causing havoc in the air, so we knew it was going to be tough. And we didn't think because we were 5-0 that it was going to be easy or anything. We kind of knew that it was going to be a tough matchup against a great team, and they got a couple new subs that plugged in really well to their team. So I don't think we're disappointed. I think we're going to get ready for our bye week, and hopefully we come back stronger and maybe talk a little bit about what we could have done differently. But they're a good team, so credit to them.
Oh, absolutely, and I think that good team has gotten even better. But did you guys get a bit surprised at how good they were in games 1 and 2?
Not really. I mean, that's just them. They're really good in the air. They're really good at making the saves that maybe some other teams can't make, and they're really good at immediately putting pressure on you when they make those saves. So it was always gonna be tough, and I feel like I definitely made a couple of double commit errors myself in those first 2 games that maybe would have saved us a goal or two. So yeah, I think definitely I'm not surprised about how they played. I think personally I'm more surprised that I didn't play more aggressive those first 2 games, and I think we were sort of very timid. And then, we were able to win game 3, but, once you're down in a 2-0 hole, it's kind of tough to dig yourself out when you're playing such a great team.
Excuse me. Yeah, for sure. And I wanted to, respond to you on the mistakes part, the double commits especially, because I did want to ask you about that. But what was the cause of that? Was it just some miscommunication in your team, or Is it just a bit of panic because of how quickly El Matador were playing?
A little bit of both. Teams that put you in hard situations. That's part of what happens. If a team just pressuring the heck out of you, it's going to lead to some bad communication. And when they pressure you for so long, there's going to be demos. Luis was doing a good job of going for demos. There's going to be tight angles on rotation. So, I mean, yeah, it was definitely tough. Definitely tough. I don't think we're disappointed at all. I think, if everything goes good, we'll meet them again in the playoffs, and we'll look at the video. But yeah, it was definitely tough. That's gonna be the word I'm gonna use today.
No, it's all good. I mean, seriously, they looked so good out there that even I would say that was a tough assignment for you all, you know? And I'm not excuse me. I'm not trying to make it seem like it was an upset because El Matador does have the talent in their side. But putting all that aside, you guys still had a really good start to the season, and it should allow you to remain in first place. I'll show the league table in a bit, but like this doesn't really dent your confidence, does it? Like you guys still seem like you have that belief in you that you're still a really good team and you should be able to progress far and potentially win the whole thing, right?
Right, and I mean, we took a game off of them, and I think we played really well in that one game. And I think, besides a couple of double, commit mistakes that we were hanging in pretty well in most of the games. We just offensively couldn't really, get the job done. But I mean, credit to them, they have amazing defense. But I mean, we'll take the bye week, and then we got I think EC Blue and Los Verdes, so we'll look forward to those games and hopefully get back in the win column. But as long as we make the playoffs and we put ourselves in a position to hopefully compete for the playoffs, that'll make us happy. I mean, obviously you want to win the regular season, so full steam ahead. We're gonna try to win out all the series that we have remaining. But hopefully we can get our confidence back with Los Verdes and EC Blue, and then we're gonna have a couple of tough matchups with some teams at the top of the table and Rebellion and Black Army. So we're very aware that that we're gonna still have to play our very best at the end if we want to win the regular season. So I think we're definitely, I don't want to say humbled, but definitely we're knocked off our cloud a little bit. But it's never a bad thing because we'll definitely maybe hit some aerial packs and try to compete with them in the air because I've never played Rocket League with guys that are that good in the air. So it's definitely shocking every time I play them because I'm trying to defend things I've never seen. They're going for angles I've never really seen, so it's just, yeah, it's different.
Oh, I totally get you, Aquatic. I had that similar experience when I first started in SGL too, and it's what made me a better player, and I'm sure it'll make you a better player as well, because you have kept improving over time. So I would not be surprised if this makes you better over time. Now, a couple of things I want to talk about. One, you guys talk about being knocked off your perch, I guess. Not your words, but my words. But it happened to Black Army as well, So, I mean, a loss was bound to come. But would you guys say you were okay with it coming from El Matador? You don't need to elaborate this too. Like, I think you could probably answer this already, right?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of tough teams in this league, and Emerald City RC, those are all like 1-goal games, so that series could have gone either way. And
Yep.
with Matador, that's a series that if you play your best, the series could still go either way, even when you're on your best day. And I just like that there's some really competitive teams at the top. Black Army, Matador. I mean, Cauldron's proven. Hopefully they'll get their stuff together at the end of the season. So I think it's just brewing for an exciting end of the season. You have us with 1 loss. You have Matador with 1 loss. I think Rebellion still has 1 loss. Black Army has 1 loss. So it's exciting for the league. So I'm more excited for the end of the season and looking forward to playing some more than like dreading it.
Absolutely. And El Matador took advantage of this week 6 roster update window. They brought in some good players. do the locals have anyone lined up? Or if not, are they going to look for some new players to come in and potentially strengthen their team? Or at least give a chance to get involved with, fellow supporters and play Rocket League?
I mean, we'll definitely have to promote it and see if there's any new locals members that are playing Rocket League. I will say this though, that Mecky Ducky's inquiring about financial fair play rules maybe being broken in this transfer window by El Matador, but it's all in jest. But but yeah, they definitely loaded up. So hopefully there's some hidden gem in the locals that might be able to step up. But yeah, damn, that was definitely the difference. It's interesting for their perspective, the fact that they could plug in three different players to see who's going to be their lockdown third, and definitely Huey was pretty good, or whoever was whatever gamer tag started with a P. That guy was pretty good, and yeah, Ponzi, he was a good third for them. So I think it's exciting times for them, maybe finding a stable third that complements them really well, because he was doing a lot of good work for them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think they have a more complete team now as a result of these changes, but that means you guys can build that complete team as well. Excuse me. I'm gonna take this into a different direction though, because I talked about the MLS season ending with Huey. I mean, the MLS season ending means next year San Diego FC is coming back, and I already saw some clips of what are they called, Chavos of San Diego. Getting into the groove, starting to come together and build up that supporters culture. So what do the locals have lined up for next year, if anything?
Well, like the Chavos and the Chavos are also a supporters group of the loyal. So, chances are whatever the Chavos are doing, the locals are also doing. But yeah, I mean, they're getting excited. There's I think the club is doing a decent job of doing some supporters group events, and I think the supporters groups themselves are doing a good job. Maybe at one of these events I can talk to some of these other guys and see if they have members that play Rocket League. But yeah, I think the locals are definitely getting excited, and I think one of the the groups that's definitely leading the way is the Chavos. And I remember them from the Loyal, and they're always a nice bunch to talk to. Got to definitely have a few beers with them when the Loyal were still around. So I'm excited. The MLS playoffs are here, and I know that the moment they end, it's gonna be like 2 months and a half to the first official SDFC game. So we're super excited.
Right, and that's the thing I wanted to talk about as well. Like, the first San Diego FC game is going to come back next year, and it's so close. Is there a lot of excitement coming up amongst the San Diego football fan base, as well as the SGs and supporters in them?
I think it's definitely brought out supporters groups that maybe weren't a part of the Loyal. I mean, I know there's a few new supporters groups that weren't in the Loyal's time. But I think a lot of famous players, or a lot of great players, have come out of San Diego. Joe Corona, who represented the national team. I think Brandon Vasquez is from here too. Paul Arriola. So there's been a lot of great players here, and I'm kind of excited. I've followed MLS for over a decade now, and I've seen the good expansion teams like LAFC. Roll right off the bat, and I've seen some bad expansion teams like Minnesota who got throttled 5-1 in their first game, and I don't know exactly how to go for SDFC. Having Chucky Lozano is an exciting signing, and I think they definitely have a good spine with the players they've signed so far. But I'm excited that they're investing a lot in their youth, and that they're partnering with the Right to Dream Academy. So I think they're going to be a really distinct team from the rest of the MLS in terms of playing a lot of youth players. I think it'll probably look sort of like Philadelphia Union or FC Dallas, but with the potential to attract bigger name players like a Lozano. So hopefully they have a few DPs lined up, but definitely exciting. And a lot of people here love soccer, and it's exciting that there's going to be an actual team on this side of the border to cheer for, because I know there's Cholos fans out there that will commit to seeing Tijuana, and some of them are ready to convert to San Diego. I've heard of LA Galaxy fans. People who lived in San Diego that would go watch the Galaxy that are or LAFC that are gonna unfortunately turn in those scarves and turn up for the new SDFC team with new scarves. So it's exciting. I think it's gonna be a lot better than maybe some people are anticipating.
Well, I mean, at the start, it did seem quite uncertain, like here comes a new ownership and they don't respect the community at all, and it was all going bad at the start. But I think they've kind of learned the lessons and they're now connecting with you all, aren't they? So hopefully for you guys and the locals, you're able to establish your presence and make that connection with the players and keep that community going, that you guys had with the loyal.
And I see it a little differently than maybe some of the rest of the locals. Unfortunately, the loyal had to go away. It's unfortunate. I would have loved for them to keep the brand and stuff, but I'm sort of excited for MLS to come in, and especially with the youth academy that they're building, because I'm all about being able to provide kids the opportunity to live out their dreams and maybe one day be a professional soccer player, whether it's in the first division of England or whether it's the third division of the United States. I like that they're going to be investing a lot in local talent, and I love the loyal, but their pockets were never going to be deep enough to invest as much as SDFC is going to be able to in youth development. So I mean, I think the club's going to learn how to be better with community events, and I think they're trying. They just probably need to be led a little bit in the better direction. But as far as a youth movement, I'm excited because San Diego's produced a lot of talent, and now San Diego will be able to hold on to that talent, and maybe be able to develop it a little bit better, especially like I said earlier, partnering with Right to Dream. So I hopefully 20 years from now, we're talking about, hey, that kid, grew up in the SDFC Academy and is now representing the U.S. or Ghana or whichever country they're from, in a World Cup. So I see it a little bit differently. The rest of the locals, I understand them, but I think ultimately I look at it from the perspective about the youth development.
And that's what I like to hear, man, because you guys are still having a local football team to support. No pun intended. So, you guys have something to look forward to, and I hope as a football fan myself that you guys can build something and keep that going, that local feel, that connection with the community. And I wish you all the best as well when it comes to supporting your team and representing San Diego and promoting that culture too. So honestly, I'm looking forward to it, and I cannot wait for San Diego to enter MLS, and hopefully they can either come to Toronto or Toronto gets to play them, and I'd love to travel to San Diego and see what you guys are all about. It would be a great freaking trip. But I've rambled a bit too much at this point, Aquatic, so I'm gonna leave the floor to you. If you want to respond to what I said or say whatever you want to say, the floor is yours. Go ahead, bro.
And I just want to thank you, Mass, for putting on SJL. It's always a blast, and today's day didn't turn out as we wanted, but this is a beautiful community of guys and girls that love soccer, whether it's MLS or USL or any other league, and like to talk soccer. I look forward to hopping on the Discord and seeing what news is in the soccer chat. So I'm really glad that I was introduced to this community, and I hope to be a part of it for a long time. And we appreciate everybody, all the mods, and especially you for doing this thing. And hopefully one day I'll either go to Toronto or you'll come to San Diego, and definitely be happy to show you around.
Cannot wait for that, man. I look forward to it. And that's what I like about SGL, is connecting all of us supporters together and promoting this culture as a whole. And I hope we can keep this going. Thank you very much for the interview, Dr. Aquatic. Appreciate your time. I'm going to let you go now because it's getting late for me as well. Have a good night, and we'll catch you next time.
All right, good night. See you in 2 weeks.
See ya. Folks, there you have it. That was Dr. Aquatic of the Locals with a very humbling, very passionate interview, if I could say so myself. I think he referred to a lot of points that highlight what this is all about. It's supporters coming together, to basically keep in touch with each other and to keep this culture going, and to allow people to come in and integrate themselves into the supporter scene in their locality. You know, we heard of Huey. He's right now in Oklahoma. You know, he's going to feel that connection with, El Matador, and he could potentially get more involved over time, just as Caesar did. And we can see this with the locals right now. They haven't had a football team for a whole year, but through SGL, they're able to keep in touch with each other. And now they can finally come together again and get involved even more once San Diego FC comes in next year. But folks, that about wraps it up for our stream. But before we end it, I want to show you the updated league table before we end this stream. So bear with me for a couple more minutes as we go to the end. As you can see, despite the 3-1 loss, the locals are still at the top of the table, courtesy of their hot start this season. But El Matador are now up in second place, 3 points behind the locals with a match in hand. And that is huge for seeding purposes. And with the roster additions that they have made, El Matador, certainly look as strong as ever. But the opportunity exists with all of the teams, and they all have a chance to get better. Ducky in the chat is saying, I don't live in SD anymore. Hold up. How far away are you, man? Did you move too far away, or is there still a chance for you to catch some San Diego football? Toadette saying next week the locals get their bye. Absolutely, and I think this break will give them a good chance of, regrouping and also allowing potentially new players to settle in and to give their team a boost in 2 weeks' time. Mecky Ducky in chat says the Bay Area. Ooh, that's not that far away. I'm sure you could make like a few San Diego matches without any issue. But he's going to Oakland Roots games now, my man. I love to see that, man. Support local. That's what it's all about, Ducky. Much respect to you for that, man. Hey, if you get a chance, see if you could bring in a potential Oakland Roots SG as well. Maybe. I won't put any pressure on you to do that right now, but it'll always be great to have some more lower league representation. We only have Steel Army right now, as you can see in this league table, but we used to have so much more. We had a USL League 2 team represented. We had not just one, a couple actually. So we need more. We had Louisville represented. We had the Luligans represented before St. Louis City FC was a thing, folks. We need more lower league representation. We need more Canadian representation. Heck, we need more Mexican representation. Let's get that going. Let's build up that supporters culture all around. Let's bring everyone together and let us show what we are all about as football supporters in this part of the world. Folks, that about wraps it up. I'm going to let you all go. You've seen a terrific matchup here where El Matador saw off the locals and handed them their first loss of the season. And now El Matador are back in the race for the top spot and potentially a chance to win the cup as well. Have a good night. Have a good evening wherever you are. We will catch you next time, folks. Peace.